Enjoying the show? You can help others find it and enjoy it too by giving us a 5-star rating or review. If you feel like reaching out to us with a question or comment, you can send us an email at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And don't forget to visit our website at mywifethedietitian.com, as well as our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy the show. It's Rob and Sandra from My Wife the Dietitian.
And this is Nutrition Nuggets.
There you go.
So we're going to get out of hangry land.
Hangry land?
Yeah.
What's hangry land?
Well, chronic hangriness.
Oh.
What is hangry?
Well, it's when you're all grumpy because you haven't eaten.
Yeah.
So why can't you just eat and then you'd be out of hangry land?
Well, that's a good point. I mean, I think low energy availability or people who are not eating enough over the day, especially if you've worked out and then you're not eating enough the next day, the rest day.
Oh, right.
Because you need to feed your body to help rebuild healthy cells and tissue. And
True.
You can't do that if you're not eating. And people that are restricting calories or on diets, we did a whole episode on last Nutrition Nuggets was diet versus healthy lifestyle change.
Mm-hmm. True.
That was a really good one. People can refer back to that because it was, it's the whole idea of diet is such a restriction and limiting and avoidance. And when people are hangry, you can reflect back. That's partly what's going on.
Oh, for sure. I know countless times I've run into people who are dieting and they're angry because they can't eat. They're like, oh, I'm not allowed to eat until 4:00 and then I can only have carrots. And you can tell that it's affecting them for sure.
Yeah, it can totally affect your mood and your anxiety, can cause depression and irritability. And, parents know when kids start acting up or if they're bickering or they're getting miserable, that, and especially if it's been a while since they last ate, like say you went out and you forgot to plan for a snack or a meal and it's been 3-4 hours. Like you think kids' stomachs are pretty small. They're about the size of their fist.
Right.
Just like our stomach is about the size of our fist.
Right.
And yeah,
they'll let you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But as an adult, and if you're trying to restrict because you still think calories in, calories out is a good way to think and good way to eat, and you maybe have suppressed those hunger cues, so you feel hungry, but you're not really feeling hungry. Mm-hmm. You don't even know when you're hungry.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or you might feel hungry at odd times, like when you're going to bed.
I hate that.
Or if you're like running out for errands and, it's like, damn, I'm really hungry. I need to eat. So yeah, then this is what we're going to talk about is 7 tips or recommendations to get out of hangry land or prevent those feelings of being hangry.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what's number 1?
Well, do you remember we did an episode on episode 25, curb cravings to...
Like sugar cravings, wasn't it?
Yeah, when you feel addicted to sweets.
Right.
So that is a really good one for people to listen back on, episode 25, because that is really related to what we're talking about today. And being hangry, what does hangry mean? What 2 words?
Hunger and angry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what happens, right?
It's an emotional response to being hungry.
Well, it's physical.
Well, yeah.
Because
it's triggered by by something physical.
Yeah, exactly.
The lack of food.
The lack of food and the hunger pains kick in maybe after it's been like 3, 4, 5 hours since you last ate. Mm-hmm. And it could be a dip in the blood sugar. And also the feeling of lightheadedness, brain fog, not thinking straight, and moodiness. And that's what you can feel frustrated and angry. Like, so that's that whole, like, you just feel grumpy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And hangry. I'm sure everyone has felt this way at some point.
Totally.
Yeah. So the first recommendation, and I see clients over and over and over again regarding this and how they're feeling with eating a certain way or, a certain day or time of day. Usually after work, before dinner is a big one where people can find that they're getting hangry.
Oh, okay. Because they think, oh, I probably shouldn't eat because I'm going to be eating dinner soon, but they're actually hungry and it would probably serve them well to have a little snack.
That's part of it. Or people forgot to just take a snack. They're out and they don't have any food with them.
Right.
That's a real common one.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And yeah, like you said, restriction, like just being on a very regimented type of meal plan where it's an external thing. So you're not listening to your internal cues and your hunger. And so that is the first recommendation is don't skip meals.
Right.
Or snacks. Like if you're used to having 3 meals a day and 2 snacks, that's a good thing to keep going. Like don't, try to eat every 3 or 4 hours if you can.
Mm-hmm. And if you're out in your car a lot, make sure you have some snacks in your car because that's the worst when you are held up somewhere and you can't get to where the food is and you're stuck in your car for whatever reason. And yeah. And it's good. I mean, like if you're planning your outing or whatever, like it's good to eat before you go out because then you know that you're going to be okay for a while, right? True. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, don't skip meals because you know that if you start skipping meals, that will create that whole roller coaster of blood sugars and just that feeling of hunger, that hangry feeling.
Exactly.
So try not to skip meals. Be pretty consistent about that. Try to eat. The second one is eat every 3 to 4 hours.
Right.
That's, I just mentioned how important that is.
Okay.
And then number 3, if you're going to eat, so for instance, someone might just have a muffin.
Mm-hmm.
How is that going to sustain you?
Well, there's not, the things that you probably need are fiber and protein. To keep you full, right?
Exactly. You just
muffin doesn't have much of either.
That's right. Especially if it depending on
unless it's a meat muffin,
or if it's got nuts and seeds and like you made it at home and it's like chock full of really good.
It'd have to have a lot of nuts and seeds to actually get a bunch of fiber. But I mean, I'm thinking like a carrot muffin has a little bit, like maybe a few little shreds of carrot in it.
Yeah, and if you put it with peanut butter.
True. Yeah.
There you go. That's a good snack. So yeah, have protein, some sort of protein at each meal and snack.
Mm-hmm.
That will really help with the cravings and it will help prevent that hangry feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are some protein ideas?
I live on nuts and seeds. It's like trail mix kind of stuff. I have it in my vehicle. I often have a handful as I'm passing through the kitchen. You could have a can of fish. It's a little more difficult if you're sitting in your car, but some yogurt, I guess, cottage cheese or a piece of cheese, hunk of chicken from last night's dinner. Yeah,
so protein foods that you've mentioned them all. And for a snack, you might as well pair it with a starch or a fruit. So if you think of, if you're going to have, say you said yogurt, maybe yogurt and fruit. Or cottage cheese and fruit.
Right.
Or your fish and crackers.
Right.
Or like whole grain toast or a wrap. And yeah, that would be great. And the trail mix, that's awesome. So nuts, seeds, dried fruit.
Hard-boiled egg, that's another one.
Yeah, hard-boiled egg and some crackers or
handful of arugula or some spinach or something would be good with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the number 4 is fiber rich food. So with your meals and snacks, try to get a higher fiber option with for whole grains, for instance. So if you're going to choose bread, try not to buy the white bread, have the whole grain. So it's got lots of seeds, lots of grains. If it's a sprouted grain bread and it's got those visible flax seeds and sunflower seeds on it. So that gives you more fiber And what are some other ways to get more fiber, like in grains? Like if you think of meals, whole grain pasta or...
Yeah. Like we've always said, if you're making dinner, make a little bit extra. Maybe keep the pasta separate if you're making pasta or rice, and then you can make a different meal with that for your snack or your lunch the next day.
Yeah, and you get those resistant starches.
Exactly.
So we just did an episode on resistant starch and how important it is for your gut biome and to offer prebiotics for healthy probiotics to have a good gut.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And the other way to get more fiber is eat the skins and the seeds with the fruit and vegetables. So the peel on the potato. So if you're having like a baked potato, then you eat the peel. That's a good way to get some good fiber to help keep you regular and to help with your healthy gut to keep things working nicely.
Perfect.
And it helps with blood sugar control so that you don't get those cravings and you don't get that hangriness.
Yeah, exactly.
So including protein at your meals and snacks and fiber-rich foods when you are choosing the type of foods. And number 5 is reduce or limit or avoid sugar-sweetened beverages.
Oh yeah, your pops. A lot of juice.
Flavored coffees.
A lot of people, yeah, those two. A lot of people think juice, because it's juice, that it's good for you, but you got to really read the label with juice, because some of them are actually good juice and some of them are like a drink or a, what do you call them? Like a mix of...
Like a cocktail?
Yeah, cocktail, they call it. Right. And it's just loaded with sugar. So if you do drink juice, make sure you're getting like the natural just juice.
Yeah. And keep it to a minimum too. Like not as a, like water's the best fluid really. Like maybe half a cup of juice a day if you really need juice, maybe with breakfast. But yeah, water is the best. And then, you know, I think culturally in society, we've got the drive-through coffee is like what a lot of people do in the morning and during the day. And that's where the sweetened beverages come in, right?
Exactly. And I switched to drinking black coffee years ago, and it was a game changer for me, because I just felt like I was dumping so much stuff into my coffee every morning, and I'm like, I don't need this stuff. And so I just got used to drinking black coffee, and I love it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I know we used to always have double. Like we used to always have cream and sugar, and now both of us don't put sugar in our coffee. And it's, we don't really even use the sugar.
No, I don't add sugar to anything.
No. I know, that's good. But yeah, what we eat affects what gut bugs we have in our system. Right. So if we're feeding those gut bugs sugary foods and sugar, then that's what the gut bugs want. They are going to grow they're craving more of the same. So if we improve our quality of our diet and have more whole grains and, you know, all the good foods, so vegetables and fruits and leafy greens and whole grains and nuts and seeds and legumes and lean meats and fish, this is what the gut bugs want.
Yeah, the good stuff.
Yeah, they'll grow and thrive and they'll reproduce and they will populate the gut. And
with more good bugs.
Exactly. Yeah. With more healthy gut bugs.
Right.
It's amazing, eh?
Yeah.
But if we're eating, like the guy in Super Size Me showed this, how he would go to McDonald's for all of his meals. And when they said supersize it, he would say yes. Like the drive-through person would ask, do you want to supersize it? Yes. So he had to say yes every time because that was part of his contract that he decided that he was going to make this documentary and go to McDonald's and basically live on McDonald's meals for his nutrition and his diet. And after eating that way, his gut bugs were thriving on the Big Macs and on that food. So that's what he was craving. That's what he wanted more of.
His body needed that.
He needed it. Yeah, it was almost like an addiction.
And he would have withdrawal when he didn't have his McDonald's.
Yeah.
Right? That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was,
And then
like, disturbing.
Exactly. And then after, I don't know how long it was, but not very long, he went and got all of his measurements and his blood work, and he had gained, like, his body fat percentage went way up, and he developed fatty liver and increased his blood cholesterol. And yeah, I mean, his gut health really was affected.
Yeah, exactly. And it was only a study of a month long, and he was like that after a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Mind you, he's eating it at every meal, but still, it sort of shows the impact of how it can affect your body.
Yeah. And I mean, there's not many, you think of, like, there's not many whole grains. There's not many vegetables and fruits. Like, the Mediterranean diet, it just doesn't come into, like, there's
no part of that in the McDonald's food.
I don't think so.
Or any fast food, really.
Really? Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What's the next one? Number 6?
Number 6 is when you have fruit or vegetables, eat the peel, the skins, and the seeds, if you can. I mean, you're not going to eat a banana peel, but if, whatever vegetable and fruit, if it has a soft skin or peel, try to get your head around eating that. And you're going to get some more fiber, and that's good for your overall health.
Exactly. So remember we met a friend who, you know how most kids don't like the crust on bread? We met a friend who only liked the crust on bread and didn't like the middle and would pull the middle of the bread apart and just eat the crust. It was like so different than what I'd seen most other people do.
Yeah. It was funny.
It was really interesting. But she's getting the healthy, like there's, I don't know, is there more stuff in the crust, or it's more brown, but I don't think that means it's healthier, but
it's just where it's been baked.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, anyway.
It's more crunch.
Yeah, true.
And as I take my sip of water here, that brings us to the 7th tip and the last tip.
Yeah, stay hydrated, I'm guessing.
You got it.
Water, ideally.
Yep, half your body and weight in ounces. So a 200-pound person, they need to have 100 ounces of fluid.
Right, which is pretty much 8 cups of water. So what we hear a lot, right? So half your body weight in ounces. Right. And that's, that's not if you're like running marathons, you're obviously going to need more water, or if you're out, working in the garden all day and you're sweating buckets, then, you're going to need to up that amount of water to make up for the sweat loss.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So try to get out of hangry land and prevent those cravings, those ups and downs with your mood and your blood sugars, and just try to be more even keel. We've talked about listening to our internal hunger cues. That's part of it too. So don't skip meals. Try to eat every 3 to 4 hours. Include a protein and a fiber at each meal and snack. Reduce those sugar sweetened beverages, and limit overly processed added sugar foods. And when you do have fruits or vegetables, try to include the skins, the peels, the seeds, and also keep hydrated. That's really key.
There we go. 7 key steps to keeping yourself out of hangry land. So thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you listening. And if you have questions, or there's things you want to know, things you want us to talk about on the show, answers to your deep, dark questions about nutrition and health, feel free to email us. We're more than happy to discuss things on the show. You can reach us at mywifetherd@gmail.com. We've also got an extensive website full of information, blog, and all sorts of different articles on there. You can check that out at mywifethedietitian.com. We've also got a newsletter on the website that you can sign up for. It's a weekly newsletter with all sorts of tips and recipes and updates on all sorts of things. So that's free to do. So give that a click as well. You can also join us on social media. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can comment there. You can reach out to us there. You can just give us a like or a thumbs up or subscribe or all of the above. They're all appreciated, and it all helps us keep things moving forward here. And rating and reviewing also helps too. It helps other people find the show. They read your awesome review of My Wife the Dietitian and they think that sounds like a good show. I'm going to check that out. So yeah, help us out there if you can. And if you can share with a friend, that is also helpful too.
Your friends would probably benefit from the information. If you thought it was fun and informative, then share it with one other person, either a colleague, a coworker, a family member, someone in your life.
Exactly. There we go. All right. Well, that is it for this week. Thanks again for joining us. We will be back next week with a full episode. And in the meantime, like I said, check out our social media, check out our website, email us your questions, all that stuff, and have a good week. Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.